Dano Ibarra, serial entrepreneur, internet pioneer, global executive.
Hi, this is Dano Ibarra. Myth or reality? 8 HomePlug beliefs unraveled. I recently posted a blog about how simple and easy using HomePlug is for setting up a home or business network. There are many myths surrounding HomePlug technology, as there are around any new technology. So I wanted to do some myth busting. Here are 8 of the most common comments I hear about HomePlug, and let's unravel them and determine whether they're true or false. I also chose to do this in the David Letterman style of starting off with number 8. So here we go. Myth or reality? Number 8. HomePlug does not work when plugged into a surge-protected power strip. This is true. A good practice is to always plug the HomePlug adapters directly into a wall electrical outlet. If plugged into a power strip and the power strip uses any type of surge protection circuitry, the HomePlug signal will be interrupted and may not work at all. Now, having said that, there are some new power strips out there that have PLC compliant written on them. These will work. PLC is another term for describing HomePlug. So if you do see the PLC compliant, go ahead and use it. But if you don't see it, be on the safe side and follow the good practice of always plugging a HomePlug adapter directly into a wall outlet. Number 7, HomePlug stops working when there is activity on the electrical wire. This is false. Early versions of HomePlug did have problems when you turned on your blender or other noisy appliances. However, today, using HomePlug AV, you will not have problems with the data stopping. When a noisy device, such as a blender, sends noise on the line, HomePlug AV notches out the noise frequency and doesn't try and compete with the noise. When the noise stops, the notched out frequency is put back to work. So that brings us to number 6. The data bandwidth is lowered when there is noise on the electrical wire. This is true. When a frequency is notched out, some bandwidth is no longer available for data transmission. The total amount of bandwidth available is lowered as a result. In practice, the lowered bandwidth is small enough that it doesn't really become noticeable. Number 5. My neighbor will be able to get on my network and steal all of my sensitive information or data. This is false. In most neighborhoods, the signal will not go beyond the home transformer. It kills the signal, so your neighbors won't be able to see it. However, in some situations, such as in condominiums or apartments, everyone will be able to see the data on your network if they also have a HomePlug adapter. In order to secure and protect your network, HomePlug adapters have a security button. Simply press the button on one adapter and within a few seconds press the button on the other adapters and you will set up a unique, secure network that only you can see. Your network will be protected by 128-bit AES encryption, and that's pretty tough to break. So if you do have a fear that your neighbors can see your data, simply set up the secure network. Very simple. This brings us to number 4. HomePlug will only work on one electrical phase and therefore will not work on all the electrical outlets in my home or business. This is false. Most homes and businesses have 220 watt or more of electricity coming into the building. And then they break it into 2 or 3 phases of 110 watts each, creating 2 or 3 separate electrical networks. Many years ago, if a HomePlug device was plugged into one of the 110 watt phases, the signal would never reach the other 110 watt phases. In more recent years, the technology has improved greatly and will jump phases. Sometimes the jump will actually produce higher throughput results than the signal carried on the same phase. Number 3, Wi-Fi and HomePlug cannot exist on the same network. Well, this is false. Wi-Fi and HomePlug devices come in 2 flavors, bridges and routers. A typical network only has one router, unless you have an IT expert setting it up for special circumstances. However, most homes and small businesses will only use one router. If the Wi-Fi device is also a router, typically called a Wi-Fi router, then the rest of the devices on the network need to be configured as bridges. And this includes the rest of the Wi-Fi devices, if you have more than one, and, of course, all the HomePlug devices. And they need to be set up as a bridge. A bridge simply moves data from one transport type to another. In our case, from an electrical wire or a Wi-Fi signal to wired Ethernet, while keeping the data intact. So if you have a HomePlug router configured, then it would want the Wi-Fi devices all configured as access points. An access point is the Wi-Fi equivalent to a bridge. With only one router on your home network or business network, Wi-Fi and HomePlug work seamlessly together, and it is completely transparent to you or any of your users. Number 2, HomePlug is slower than Wi-Fi. It's false. However, it is a little tricky to decipher what this really means. Let's take a look. HomePlug AV has a raw bit rate of 200 megabits per second, while Wi-Fi 802.11 has raw bit rates of 300 megabits per second. Sounds like Wi-Fi has the edge. However, in practice, both offer between 90 and 120 megabits per second. So neither of them reach their raw bit rate in actual practice, and they both end up with about the same speed. Many factors affect the actual speed of the connection for both HomePlug and Wi-Fi. However, a closer look would show that due to some technical challenges such as jitter, packet loss, latency, and limited quality of service inherent in Wi-Fi, for applications such as gaming and streaming video, HomePlug is the best solution. For other applications, they perform fairly equally, so you can set your network up using both and know that you have about the same speed running through both networks. And number 1, HomePlug does not have the reach of Wi-Fi. This is false, and again, we have to unravel this to really understand. HomePlug AV is rated at 900 feet, while Wi-Fi is rated for just over 300 feet indoors and a little over 900 feet outdoors. So if you're comparing HomePlug AV at 900 feet and Wi-Fi outside, then it's also at around 900 feet. Of course, who sets their office up outdoors? In practice, though, neither technology reaches the maximum distance except in perfect conditions. For example, the electrical wiring is not run as the crow flies, but in most cases winds around the rooms and up and down the walls. So if you were to just take a measuring tape and measure the distance from one outlet to the other, you're not getting a true measurement of the distance. Older and poor quality electrical wiring will also not carry the signal as far either. Wi-Fi distance is greatly affected by noise in the air from neighbors' Wi-Fi signals, other airwave noise, and walls. In fact, Wi-Fi signals will not travel through brick or concrete walls at all. So in addition, due to the current state of Wi-Fi technologies, it will provide disappointing results when used with gaming and streaming video, while HomePlug will provide good results. So, at the end of the day, my recommendation is to combine both technologies for maximum performance throughput throughout the home or the business, and keep in mind that both will run HomePlug will run less than 900 feet, while Wi-Fi will run around 300 feet indoors with normal obstacles, but won't travel through brick or concrete. So keeping these things in mind, set your network up, test it. If it doesn't work, switch technologies. If you have questions or comments regarding HomePlug, myths or realities, let me know. I have been working with HomePlug technologies for over 5 years and have many direct contacts with developers and inventors of the technology. Let's get these myths on the table and validate them or debunk them. This has been Dano Ibarra talking about myth or reality, 8 HomePlug beliefs unraveled.
Dano Ibarra, serial entrepreneur, internet pioneer, global executive.